Thank guitar, which was restored by Carlos Piña Vaca from Michoacan. It's in unrestored condition. So originally this was listed probably as a Torres. It is not, so far as I know, a Torres. There's a couple things that distinguish that. The first is there's a thick line here in the rosette, and this one here. Also, this is a 660 millimeter scale length. So this is what's considered to be a slightly longer, 10 millimeter longer scale length. The other thing that would make me think that this would not be a Torres, although probably around the same time, is the headstock is very similar. However, there's two gouges in Torres's designs that were right here, which are not present on this instrument. The back was completely destroyed prior to the 50s and had been replaced, and the replaced back had been destroyed. The original back had been gone for a long time, and the replacement back had already been completely wiped out. So we're looking at a guitar from 1879 through 1885, somewhere in that era, and the replacement back had grain running the wrong direction on it and had been warped, and a bunch of bad things had happened to that. And because of that, there also was no maker's label. So they were unable to determine really how old the instrument is, also who made it. But if you look in the fingerboard, there were actually grooves in the fingerboard before the restoration, which were basically, you could put marbles in some of these things. Somebody had been playing with fingernails for a long, long time, and they had completely wiped out sections of the fingerboard, and that was all repaired. So the neck was not, however, reset. The neck was straight and everything was in place. Everything on this instrument is completely original with the exception of the back and two of the tuning pegs, which are now solid ebony. This era of instrument, some student instruments, which this probably would have been, only had, I guess it was a type of boxwood, or basically not ebony that had been dyed to look like ebony. And all of the tuning pegs on here, except for the replacements, are made out of that. The replacement pegs are actually solid ebony. So those are the only things that are really different. Everything was done in the style to match the original. And the original nut and saddle, which were very yellowed, and there was a little bit of warping in them. I still have those. If you look here at the bridge is all original, all the bracing and everything is there. The only exception is what's on the back. So the back lattice braces here, those were probably not the originals with the destroyed back where the grain wasn't running straight. And those braces were removed and the entire back was replaced. Now, so far as finish work, some of the French polish has been touched up, but if you look closely here at the top, you can see a lot of the crazing in the original French polish, which is from, well, we're talking way over 100 years of use and wear, so that's why there's a little bit of this kind of crazing in the French polish. The final thing that made us believe that this was not in fact a Torres was this extra fret. Most of the time there would be two frets, so there would be one on either side. This fret in this case is just on the treble side, which is unusual. So that's part of it. So far as overall condition, it's solid. This is a stable restoration. The restoration was done in 2010. So if I remember correctly, this would have been probably September 2010. So we're talking about 13-year restoration. Everything's solid, nothing's falling apart. This is, ready to be played and used. It's not a guitar which needs any work for it to be playable and usable.
play every note on the fretboard, starting with the high E. Now there's not a lot of buzzing notes or anything like that, but it definitely depends on who's playing it.